Jacob Fatu has officially snapped, and The Miz may have just stumbled into the most dangerous chapter of his career without even realizing it. What began as a standard backstage promo quickly evolved into one of the most volatile and emotionally charged segments in recent WWE memory, one that not only reignited past grudges but also ignited a brand new war that could shatter reputations, bend steel, and break spirits. As the segment opened backstage, the camera cut to Jacob Fatu pacing like a lion uncaged, eyes burning with a mixture of hurt, betrayal, and raw, untamed fury. The air was thick with tension, the kind that made even the production crew step back in fear. There was no flash, no theatrics, just a man visibly shaking with rage. When he finally grabbed the mic, it wasn't to entertain, it was to unload years of pain that had reached a boiling point. "I love Solo," Fatu began, voice trembling but intense, "but he made me like this." With those chilling words, the tone was set. This wasn't a promo, it was a confession, a war cry, and a warning. Fatu went on to accuse Solo Sikoa, his own blood, of orchestrating a setup meant to send him back to prison, a place he had vowed never to return to. The betrayal wasn't just professional, it was deeply personal, hitting a nerve tied to Fatu's past, his demons, and the promise he made to himself and his family to never walk back into a cell. You could see it in his eyes, he wasn't just angry. He was broken, and from that brokenness came something more dangerous, clarity. A cold, singular focus on vengeance. As the crowd watching on screens around the arena began to buzz with shock, Fatu addressed the elephant in the room, Adam Pearce's official announcement the week prior that Jacob Fatu would face Solo Sikoa inside a steel cage. No outside interference, no bloodline politics, just Fatu and Solo, locked in a structure that had settled decades of WWE's most brutal feuds. But Fatu wasn't scared, he didn't flinch, he looked directly into the camera, jaw clenched and said it like a death sentence, "I'm going to dog walk his ass." The delivery wasn't dramatic, it was chillingly matter of fact. There was no showmanship, just truth wrapped in violence. And just when it seemed the moment couldn't escalate any further, in walked The Miz. Cocky, composed, almost suicidal in his confidence. Miz stepped into the frame like a man who believed he was bulletproof, and with each step closer to Fatu, the room seemed to contract with pressure. The WWE Universe collectively held its breath as Miz stood face to face with a man on the edge. But he didn't back down. Instead, The Miz delivered a cutting, egotistical monologue that only he could pull off. "You think you're dangerous?" Miz sneered. "I've stood across from the dead man, from giants, from monsters. I've beaten legends, I've survived eras, and I'm still here. You're not the story, Jacob. I am. I've always been. I'm the main character." The nerve, the arrogance, it was classic Miz. But then came the twist no one expected. Miz revealed that he had already gone behind the scenes to SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis and secured a match against Fatu for tonight. No build-up, no slow burn, he wanted it immediately. The crowd in the arena erupted. Online reactions lit up like wildfire. But in the room, there was only silence. Because Miz wasn't done. Without warning, in a moment that felt unscripted and entirely reckless, The Miz slapped Jacob Fatu across the face. It wasn't a work. It wasn't a performance. The sound of skin meeting skin echoed like a gunshot. The camera visibly shook. People backstage reportedly froze in place. But Fatu didn't move. Not even a twitch. He stood still, staring deep into Miz's soul with a calm that was more terrifying than any outburst. Then came a whisper, cold and deadly, "Come on with it." No shouting, no reaction, just a quiet promise of violence. The Miz, perhaps realizing too late what he had just done, backed away and exited the frame, but not before looking over his shoulder. That look said everything. He had provoked something ancient, something feral, something that would not be tamed by scripts or storylines. And now, everything has changed. Jacob Fatu's war with Solo Sikoa has been expanded. The battlefield has widened, and The Miz has unknowingly painted a massive target on his back. This isn't just about matches anymore. This is personal. This is about betrayal, survival, pride, and redemption. This is a man who feels wronged by his family, manipulated by the system, and now publicly disrespected by a man who sees himself as untouchable. And when those three forces collide inside a WWE ring, the result will not be sports entertainment. It will be warfare. In the weeks to come, WWE fans may witness something we haven't seen in years, a feud that breaks the mold, that bleeds into every segment, that makes security backstage nervous and the commentary team unsure of what to say. Because Jacob Fatu is no longer asking for respect. He's not here to prove himself. He's here to destroy, to settle debts, to burn bridges and dance in the fire. And if Solo Sikoa and The Miz don't understand that yet, they will soon. So now we ask you, did The Miz just pull off one of the boldest plays in WWE history by stepping into Fatu's storm, or did he just write the final chapter of his own career? Either way, one thing is certain, Jacob Fatu isn't just here to fight. He's here to dismantle everything in his path, and the carnage has only just begun. Just when it seems the promo couldn't get any more intense, the unexpected happens. The Miz, of all people, walks into frame, his expression laced with arrogance and defiance. Most would take one look at the unhinged Fatu and back down, but Miz has never been one to shy away from danger, sometimes to his own detriment. He locks eyes with Fatu and delivers a cold, calculated monologue. "I've stood across from legends," he says, his tone dripping with contempt. "I've survived monsters. I've beaten icons. I am the main character here." And then, he drops the nuclear bomb. Without hesitation, The Miz reveals he went straight to SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis and got himself booked in a match, tonight, against Jacob Fatu. The atmosphere instantly shifts. Shock ripples through the crowd. Even the camera seems unsure whether to pan closer or stay at a safe distance. Then, out of nowhere, The Miz slaps Jacob Fatu square across the face. The sound echoes like a gunshot. The camera jolts, capturing the moment in chaotic motion. But Fatu doesn't move. He doesn't blink, he just glares, ice cold, and says quietly, "Come on with it." The Miz turns and walks away, leaving behind a powder keg ready to explode. But make no mistake, this isn't the end. It's not even the beginning of the end. This was just the spark that lit the fuse. Jacob Fatu isn't just gunning for Solo Sikoa anymore, he now has a score to settle with The Miz. And if this night is any indication, things are going to get violently personal, unpredictably intense, and unforgettable in ways WWE hasn't seen in years. The question now is simple, did The Miz just make the boldest play of his career, or the biggest mistake of his life? With Jacob Fatu unleashed, the path ahead is soaked in fury, legacy, and inevitable destruction. Let us know where you stand, because the war is here, and it's only getting bloodier from here.